Welcome, my children. This is Monster Master Godzilla, and I'm here to continue the Ghostbuster-A-Thon. We're now up to Ghostbusters 2. Now, after the success of Ghostbusters from 1984, they they end up following up with a sequel 5 years after the success of the first film. Now, Ghostbusters 2 came out in 1989, and as it was released, it is a not needed sequel, but it was fun and enjoyable to watch. A lot of people didn't like it, but over time, people grew appreciation for it. And now, it took, and just when things, it take place like years after the events of the first film, the team find themselves out of business after the events that happened. After recapturing every ghost there is, the whole team are out of business. Dana is now as a kid, and now as a little baby boy, a boy named Oscar. And just when and you would think that, and when you see that Dana had a baby, you remember how at the end that she and Venkman kiss at the end, and how Venkman has a thing for her. But it turns out when you see the first one, you see their baby, and you see, and just when so in the beginning, this slime ends up coming out from the ground, and it caused the baby in the carriage to move on its own. And then Dana successfully chases after her baby and finally saves him. And while the Ghostbusters are out of business, turns out they were still making themselves feel relevant. Like Ray and Winston tried attending birthday parties, and one of the kids was expecting He-Man, and they said, my dad says you're full of shit, he said. Well, some people just don't believe in ghosts. And they tried putting on a show, and it didn't work out. Then Ray ends up running a comic book shop. Runs a comic book shop. Spangler continues his career as a scientist with psychiatrics, and Venkman continues on as ends up having a talk show, and one of his clients had said that they talked to an alien saying that the world will end in February 14th in the year 2016, which I remember when it was predicted that the world didn't happen. The end of the world did not happen. It was so full of shit. And as what Venkman said, Valentine's Day, bummer. And thankfully nothing happened. So then, when Venkman and the boys end up meeting, So Venkman, Spengler, and Ray end up meeting Dana again, along with their baby named Oscar. And when after you find out that Dana had a baby, you would think that she and Venkman hit it off together, but turns out no, she ended up hitting it off together with another woman, with another man. She ended up running off to another man. A big slap in the face to the audiences of the first film. And that's why Venkman said that I should have been said to Oscar that he should have been his father. And Janos, which is one of the bad guys, but has a redeeming quality, is a painter. Yes, Dana is now an artist. And there was also and the main villain of the whole movie is Prince Vigo, the Carpathian. And he's plotting on ruling the world. And he wanted to be reborn. The first thing is that he wanted to be reborn. That's why the baby is involved in the story. So then, eventually, when the boys found the river of slime, the team ended up get taken to court. But the judge ended up being attacked by two ghosts named the Scoleri brothers, and he caused mayhem in the court. So the team decided to go back to end up capturing the Scoleri brothers, and so thus making the Ghostbusters back in business. And Janine Melnitz is back, this time sporting a bob short red hair, unlike with round glasses instead of the cat glasses like she did in the first. And she had, instead of having bob short hair, instead of having a pixie cut. So then Rick Moranis now works at the firehouse. And remember, and the logo is shown, and the logo is changed to where the Ghostbusters are back. It showed the ghost showing two fingers like this to show that they're back in business. And the Ghostbusters are sporting dark uniforms, where with the updated logo, which they will eventually wear their traditional uniforms where it's tan, in their tan uniforms, but this time it's still sporting that logo, which I find hilarious that they use the logo. And their car Ecto-1 got the logo too. And now, as the slime ends up causing mayhem all over the city of New York, and it was also set during it also got attacked during Christmas. They battled ghosts. Even there was one funny scene where they were set during Christmas, where two of the Ghostbusters were wearing Santa hats. And Slimer appears a few scenes and messing around with Lewis. And then they had with Lewis. So then the Ghostbusters got arrested, got sent in a holding cell. But just when the city is going out of hand, they said, "Somebody get me the Ghostbusters." And then the slime has caused a lot of mayhem. And then it caused a lot of mayhem, like ghosts going everywhere. Like the Mink Stole came to life, even saying the Titanic had arrived. Then, and there's also the museum got turned into a giant jello mold. But then, originally, they tried using their proton streams to fight through it. But then, later, they ended up going to Liberty Island, and they brought the Statue of Liberty to life. So, they found out and as before that, they found out the slime has reactions to it, which is why it absorbed negative energy, and it could eventually cause some major damages. Like before that, they had a funny moment where they had the dancing toaster. So then they brought the Statue of Liberty to life. And so then, and they went going to the museum, and they broke free. And they broke through the jello mold. And then, while there's also Lewis, he ends up gaining confidence and starts becoming the 5th Ghostbuster. Originally, Lewis took one of Egon's spare jumpsuits, and when he finally spores a proton pack, he says, "Oh, this is heavy." Yeah, because he was very short and skinny. A twig. So then, he ended up becoming a Ghostbuster later on. And then they eventually they end up battling Vigo. Vigo ends up possessing Ray at one point. And he said, "No, I'm Ray, and Vigo shall rule the earth." And then they eventually defeat Vigo, and the world is finally saved by New Year's Day. Yes, that's right. The final battle took place on New Year's Eve, and they saved the world by New Year's Day. And so the world is finally saved yet again. So Ghostbusters 2. It's very amazing. A really stand-out sequel. It can get a lot of hate, but over time it has gotten some hate by some audiences, but over time people grow to appreciate it. But the first one is still the best of them both. And I truly recommend it if you're a hardcore Ghostbusters fan. And that's all I have to say, folks. And next up, we will be continuing with you won't believe what I will be continuing with. So bear with me, everybody. And you'll know by the next video. And this is Monster Master Godzilla here, and I will see you tonight.